Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plug In. Today, I'm going to be joined by Brandon Eschborn, and we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5s and where you guys can potentially find them, some places you guys can trust, and just our experiences with watching them come and go.
Places you probably shouldn't trust, too.
That as well, yep. So, Brandon, if you want to open the floor with some background and your side of it, then we'll get started.
So I'm more on the PlayStation half of this. I've been looking for a PlayStation 5, kind of been off and on just searching through the market for the past couple months, but I've been really just getting into it for the past week or two because I'm genuinely looking for one for myself. Yeah, I've already had a couple different tries to get it online for MSRP, and it feels like you're literally doing the Cirque du Soleil for just getting a console for the price it should be. I mean, I had what was it? I think it was Friday morning. They had that Target drop in the morning, which I tried getting, and there was a really bad glitch around the whole looking for stores around you, because when you typed in the zip code, it wouldn't do anything. And it did that like 15 times every single time when I tried looking for a new location. So that was fun. And then there was also the PS Direct queue thing, which that wasn't too bad. The only thing is you're relying on RNG, and well, my RNG luck is about as bad as, well, things that really shouldn't be described. Yeah. Aside from that, prices aren't great. Well, they're better than they used to be, but most of what I'm seeing right now is around, like, probably at least for eBay and Amazon, like 800 to 900 range. Series X the same or different?
So from what I've seen, the Series X MSRP is 500. I've seen it for anywhere between like 600 to a little over 800, but some of those were the new recently announced Halo Infinite bundle. So that's a little on the higher end of the stick. But in terms of the Series S, which is the all digital version, I've seen that one for about MSRP of about 300 from anywhere to about 500.
So it sounds like yours is actually a little better than mine. Yeah, because I mean, I'm mostly looking for the disc PS5, so I'm kind of being the high baller here. If only the high baller would actually give me the profits, although I don't want to scalp like some of these other people. Yeah, it's nasty. I mean, I know there's some good sources out there because there's all sorts of retailers. Because if you're looking for a Series S, Series X, PS5 digital, PS5 disc, there's, at least here in the US, there's your major retailers like your Walmart, your Best Buy, your Target, some slightly more regional ones, or slightly harder ones like Sam's Club and Costco. In my case, and some supposedly Meijer has them too for people around the Midwest. I don't know if there's any out like in the Pacific areas or in the mountain regions. Do you know of any stores like that out there?
I think it's kind of like whatever their like Sam's Club or Meijer equivalents are for those regions. I know that, like you said, there's Target, Walmart, Best Buy sells them online. I've seen them online at Newegg a couple times. They've had some Series X's pop up.
And online is another place apparently that sells them. That's pretty good.
Amazon's had a couple Series X waves. I think they had a PlayStation one a couple weeks ago.
There was a digital wave on Amazon that was sporadic and kind of a disaster, but right now Amazon's all, at least for the disc, it's all third-party stuff. I mean, new consoles last I checked was like 860 there around. I'm pretty sure they haven't changed too much. I can actually take a peek because I am bored and I need to figure it out.
While he's looking that up, I'm just going to cut in here that I got lucky and managed to get a Xbox Series S at the local Walmart here just by pure chance. So I don't know about the disc ones. I think those are all online. But if you're looking for the digital versions, you may get lucky in your stores.
All right, I found Amazon's. Best used is 860. Best new is pretty much right at $900. And I love how over 12 months, aside from one retailer, pretty much everything positivity rating is only around 70%. I wonder why.
Are those the disc one?
That's for the disc version.
Okay.
Digital version, last I knew, was not much better, honestly. They even tried selling refurbished ones on here every so often, but I really don't like refurbished consoles. I actually don't like refurbished any electronics, but that's a personal opinion. That's unrelated.
Yeah. That's a discussion for another episode, another day. So we've named a couple places that you can maybe get lucky and find some at. So we kind of hinted at it a little bit earlier, but let's move into some of the places that we've used or we've kept an eye on that other people may not know about that are pretty credible for giving updates on these drops.
So in terms of updates, there's multiple pages on Twitter that you can always look at. The guy I go through is Jake Randall. He's a good guy, really positive, really puts a smile on your face with his live streams that he does when the drops happen. There's also other Twitter pages like Matt Swider, Wario64. It's a couple others. It's like PS5 Stalker or something like that. And that's just for the US. There are some that are specific for other places like Canada, the UK, because this problem is not exclusively in the US from what I've seen. It sounds like the scalping issue has turned that name all around the developed world, I guess. I don't know if it's in other places too, but that's just what little I know.
I'm sure it is. And if there's anybody listening that's in an area we haven't named and we're not sure about and you know stuff, feel free to promote it in some way, shape, or form. Where just because the stuff we talk about is not the only stuff out there, it's just the stuff that we know of.
Right. I mean, obviously, the closest I can have to knowing the globe is buying one of those model globes online for $30 and spinning it around saying, "Ooh, here's this country." But anyway, even just doing that, I can't tell you what's going on in every country in the world.
And then for those that don't know, MSRP is main seller retail price, and scalping is when you buy something and then sell it online on like eBay or Amazon or whatever various website for triple, quadruple, whatever the price of base.
People do that for electronics. I know people love doing it for like TVs on Black Friday and stuff. They do it for sports tickets, concert tickets. I mean, there's a difference because there's some things like flipping, like for houses and stuff, or even just purchasing to resell, like a lot of collectible dealers do, which admittedly I used to do that in the past. And that's a cool hobby to get into. But this is more just, this is an irregular item that's consumable that you're purchasing for something else. And quite frankly, if you're just doing that to make things harder for other people and get money in the process, that's not cool to me.
With all that said, now let's talk a little bit more about like our experiences with like you said earlier in our private conversations. Like there've been a couple different times where you've had it in your cart or in your queue and then you lose it at the last second. Let's describe that a little bit.
I've only had that once so far because I've had only 2 major tries at this point because like I said, I just got into the actual buying market fairly recently because there was a drop for Target just this past Friday morning, so the morning of the 10th of September, and I had a PS5. I literally clicked, I rushed it admittedly and shouldn't have. I had it in my cart. I had it going through PayPal and PayPal apparently didn't go through. I had to go through it a second time. And when I was done with the second time, it's like, oh, it's no longer in the store. You need to pick a new one. Okay, fine. Let's put in the location to get a new store. And the location services for finding other stores was horribly bugged on the website. So basically, if you didn't pick the correct store pretty much on that first pass, at least with that glitching effect, you were basically SOL. I didn't get it. I looked around for like 20 minutes. And for reference, I live near Toledo, Ohio right now. I searched Toledo, I searched Cleveland, Columbus, Mansfield, Cincinnati, Detroit, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I think I even searched Indianapolis too, and I could not find a thing like 10 minutes in. And then the second one I went through was through Sony Direct or PlayStation Direct. I don't remember the exact name of it because that one is basically everybody gets lumped into a room that gets shoved in at a certain time and they shuffle them up and put them in a line basically. And each device you have is a spot in line. Well, I had my computer and my cell phone in. I told my friend who's also looking for a PS5 and I told him, it's like, hey, this is going on. He actually ended up getting a total of 3 spots, but one was fairly late. And by the time one of us made it, they were already all sold out. So I don't know how many people were there. I don't know how many people in that group legitimately needed PS5, and how many of them were just fake accounts or bots trying to get another PS5 on a PlayStation account they'll never use. But yeah, Both of those were not great, but it's at least a learning experience for the next time they come through.
Which arguably is the biggest takeaway from it. Now, because of those times, now you know what to expect when the next drop happens and how to better prepare yourself and have stuff at the ready if you need to.
Exactly.
Now, on the complete flip side of that, because I've grown up with Xbox pretty much my whole life. I have a Switch and I played that for the longest time. So I didn't initially, when they announced the new consoles, I was like, okay, great. Think about it for another time. Because at the time, like Switch was all I was playing. So I was like, okay, I'll think about it for another time. And then now that I'm back here, I'm doing stuff. I'm having people over for game nights or whatever in the apartment. So it became a thing of like, okay, I should probably start looking into this stuff now. So then I started going online, and specifically in my case, Wario64. I followed him previously because he would always tweet when there'd be video game sales on various places like the eShop or Microsoft Store or whatever. And then he started tweeting about the console waves. So I'm like, okay, I'll sit in on some of these. At the time, I wasn't planning to buy one. I just wanted to see in just for that, just to see how they worked, what to expect, that kind of stuff. So then after a while, I started messaging you and some other people when drops were happening. In fact, actually a lot more people before I started messaging you about it. And then seeing those people strike out. So then I started tuning in just to see or testing or pretending to put stuff in the car just to see what would happen. So then one day I was like, I woke up, did life stuff as everybody does, but I couldn't shake the feeling of, I want to go to Walmart today. Like no context, just I should go to Walmart sometime today. So eventually later in the evening, like mid-afternoon, early evening, sometime like that, I eventually got up to the local Walmart, and sitting right there in the Xbox display was a Series S.
And away it went home.
So I stood there, I pondered it for a good probably 20 minutes. So then I eventually decided, I'm never going to see one of these again. And I still haven't to this day. And I've been in multiple stores at this point and some of the online drops. Haven't seen one. I'm playing it all the time. It's great. I'm going to probably sometime in the next week or two, I'll do another episode just reviewing that. So anyway, moral of the story, I got it. It was MSRP because it was in store at Walmart. So if you're seeing these drops and you think you get that impulse, like you want to order it, but then you have the other side of you that's going, don't do it. It'll be cheaper or whatever later on. If you don't need it at this very second, don't get it. It'll come around, especially with things like Black Friday coming up and all that kind of stuff. There'll be deals and whatnot. Places will be having stuff in store, online. So if you don't need it right this second for something, the best thing you can do is just keep an eye on the market, keep an eye on the Wario64, the other Twitter accounts or whatever you're going to do, and just keep an eye on things to see where things are going.
Yeah, and kind of going along with a couple of things you said, I have spotted one Series S out here as well in my local Walmart, and I have not seen another one before or since as well. So I've only had one spot. Another thing with the Black Friday thing, I don't know how well it's going to be. People are expecting that to basically be a real war zone. I don't know if in-person Black Friday is going to happen this year. People are thinking that the consoles are going to only be online. Well, other things are going to be in stores. I don't know what to believe with that. I suppose we'll probably get better answers when we get closer to Black Friday.
Yeah, that's more of a just kind of wait and see what happens. But it's just that general idea that they're like the Series X/S and the PS5, like the big consoles, and they're Microsoft and Sony's like big things right now.
And the
So even though we don't know
soon too.
Yeah, and even though we don't know all the details yet, it's more than likely that there's at least one of them is going to pop up somewhere in some part of Black Friday.
Oh yeah, I could actually pretty much guarantee at least some version of both of them will. One of the Xboxes and one of the PS5s at least.
Exactly.
The exact question is, how's it going to be? Is it going to be just the console? Is it going to be a bundle with a game or something like how I bought my PS4? Is it going to be online only? Is it going to be in store? Are we going to be hearing about a giant riot in the store? It's going to cause police to be called. Hey, no joke. That'd be something I wouldn't be surprised with.
I mean, if it happened for Pokemon cards, it'll happen for these. But that's a whole other story that we don't have time for, and it doesn't fit the theme of the podcast, so we're not going to get into that.
I mean, our local Walmart for Black Friday always had police for security, so
yeah,
it was specifically to quell those specific types of things, like if people are fighting over things or trying to yank stuff out of people's carts or shoplift.
But basically, the moral of the story here is if you're also listening to this and trying to get one of these consoles and not having good luck with it, obviously you're not the only person. Just be patient. Stuff will come back in full circle and you'll eventually get your shot.
Yeah, because there are several places that are trying their best to make sure that the people that actually want them and not for malicious intent get them the way they're supposed to.
And now, speaking of that, you touched on this before we started recording. Are there any places that you don't recommend people go to follow for these updates?
In terms of following or in terms of stores? Or both?
Both. Sure. Why not?
Following, I'm not completely sure. I mean, obviously there are going to be those people that have those clickbaity type things, but that's kind of universal. And there are specific people that you really just need to figure. It's like, okay, are these people legit? Do people like this person? I know, like the people I mentioned earlier on are people that are reputable, respected,
That we
whatnot.
know of.
Right, that, yeah. I mean, and then there's going to probably be some random, I can't say those words, jerk off, sir, thing. That basically is like, oh, this is gonna happen today. Believe me, guys. Why do I sound like a gopher? Why am I imagining a freaking person that has a gopher as their picture? Anyway, off topic. But those people are probably not gonna be what you want. And then stores, there are some that are a little bit sketchier. I've heard stories in regards to some of the third-party sellers on Amazon that are kind of like, okay, you promised this, it was supposed to get shipped, it never did. And then of course there's the big thing with eBay. Of course, there's a lot of consoles on eBay. I actually was taking a poke at one of those and was tempted to buy one of them on there today, but I decided to wait and be patient because it's either try and find one for 500 or pay like 800 or something like that on eBay. But there are some people, and I've heard stories of this also, that they'll buy the console but never receive it, and it basically is a scam. There's another site that I found called, it's either StockX or StackX, that has had similar stories, but I have never used those guys before.
It's the first time I'm hearing of them too. So
They were originally for like designer shoes and stuff like that. So the expensive sports shoes and stuff and the fashion items that people with more money than brains buy. But now they've been having at least PS5s. I don't know if they have Xboxes. I haven't looked, but they've also had similar stories along the lines of some of them have been just fine, like they got their item about a week after, like they're supposed to. And then there's some people, it's like, okay, I bought this, I never received it. Where the is my item? So yeah, with those types of things, as well as like Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, which is very, very risky. I mean, for all you know, you could be going to your neighborhood pot dealer or something for all we know. Yeah, don't do that stuff, please. Use reputable retailers, and there are some sellers on eBay and stuff like that that can be trusted. Look through their feedback and stuff. Yeah, that's what I can think of for right now.
you nailed the ones I was going to say right on the head. The biggest two that I can think of to be super weary about are one, eBay, for reasons literally just stated. Like if you're going to buy anything on eBay, and Amazon too, but more so eBay, because Amazon is at least decent at monitoring some of this stuff. But at least for eBay, every seller has reviews on their product page or whatever you're looking at. If you're going to buy anything on eBay, read those reviews and make sure that it's worth putting the money or spending or whatever into. And then the other biggest one is Facebook Marketplace, for reasons literally just because anybody can post anything on there. The pictures don't even have to be from the exact item. Like someone might be selling like an Xbox 360 and they could just have random pictures from the internet. Like they don't have to physically be the product's pictures.
Yeah, people are doing that on eBay as well. I mean, I also just thought of, I don't know if they would even have this on here, but maybe Craigslist too would be bad. I mean, there's stories of people that tried selling their kids on Craigslist. And yes, that is a news article you can look up. I promise, I've seen it before. That guy got arrested for that.
You can look that up on your own time. I'm not linking that because that's not part of the podcast. I'm not linking
Not
that.
even close. Oh, let's just talk about these random legal stories that make no sense.
But anyway, that's a very good point, though, with Craigslist, too, just because of how they do their similar to eBay. If you're going to order anything online that isn't from like Microsoft or Sony directly, then read the reviews. Make sure it's the person that other people have had good experience ordering stuff from or buying from, or if it's Facebook Marketplace, I recommend if it's not somebody you know, then I'd recommend to avoid it personally.
Mm-hmm,
But I mean, obviously, all these sites that we're naming, not everything is bad on them. Like I've ordered stuff from eBay and it's been fine before. I'm sure you have too. But
I've ordered and sold on eBay back years ago. So,
but it's common sense. But it's common sense that with how these consoles have been over the past year or so, feels like it just needs to be said again.
mm-hmm. There are a lot of scumbags out there that are trying to use this for their own exploitation. So tread lightly. That's all we got to say on the matter.
So that being said, like I said, I've been lucky enough to actually get one of the consoles and have it for a couple days, well, about a week or so. And I'm still playing stuff. I'm probably going to do a podcast episode just reviewing the console and maybe Game Pass and other stuff, but that'll come at a later point. There's still some stuff I want to tinker with before I do that. But anyway, I think that pretty much covers things for here. I mean, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Nothing I can think of, no.
Well, if we don't have anything else to say, guys, just like we said, just use your judgment, be cautious. If you don't need it right this second, just wait it out a little bit longer. There'll be more restocks. There'll be potential Black Friday stuff. These consoles aren't going to go away anytime soon. So there's plenty of time. Wait for somewhere that you trust or at least have like 90% confidence in before you go and order these things. And with that being said, thank you for joining me today, Brandon.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, it's time for us to unplug. If you like what we do, be sure to share it with your friends on Edinburgh Now. You can tune in there and potentially YouTube if I upload this there. I'm not too sure on that yet. With all that being said, from the Plug-In Podcast, I'm Cade McChesney. Goodbye and have a great night.